chúng ta cũng thường hay gặp phải. Sometimes we get the information from someone which is very interesting information, and we don't know whether it's right or wrong. We don't have enough evidence, but still we repeat information to others, and other people may believe what you said is true, and then the rumor going on and on. And in such situation, it's not really good because we ourselves violate the quality principle. Nếu như mà chúng ta rèn luyện được điều này đó các bạn, có nghĩa là chúng ta rèn luyện, có một cái tôi cũng thường hay liên tưởng. Mình liên tưởng đến một cái bài thơ rất là nhỏ, rất là đơn giản mà chúng ta học ở trong lớp 1 hay lớp 2 gì á. Cái bài có cái tựa đề là Cô dạy. Mẹ mẹ ơi cô dạy, cãi nhau là không vui, cái miệng nó xinh thế chỉ nói điều hay thôi. Chúng ta ai cũng biết bài đó đúng không ạ? Những bài của sách lớp 1, lớp 2 gì ngày xưa. Chúng ta đều có ý thức rõ ràng mình mong muốn mình là một cái người tốt, mình có những cái đóng góp tốt. Nhưng mà có đôi khi những cái đóng góp, những cái phát ngôn của mình á, nó không đủ tốt. Khi mà chúng ta học lại cái quality principle này, chúng ta thấy cái quy tắc của họ đưa ra rất là đơn giản. Hoặc là về quantity cũng vậy, quy tắc đưa ra đơn giản. Nói đủ thông tin theo yêu cầu. Đủ ở đây có nghĩa là không dư thông tin và không thiếu thông tin. Nhưng mà chúng ta cũng khó kiểm soát được cái điều đó lắm. Có đôi khi chúng ta cho thông tin dư hơn yêu cầu. Hoặc là nói thông tin đảm bảo vị chất. Vị chất ở đây là không phát ngôn những cái gì mà chúng ta biết là sai. Chúng ta kiểm chứng lại coi trong khoảng một tuần chúng ta có cái phát ngôn nào mà chúng ta biết là sai không, kể cả lặp lại. Hoặc là chúng ta không phát ngôn những điều mà chúng ta không có đủ thông tin rằng nó đã đúng. Ok. Hai cái điều này, if you can apply in your conversation, your communication and your utterances, we can improve yourself a lot. Cái quyển sách này nó cũng rất là hay. Cái tựa đề nó cũng rất là đặc biệt. Nó ghi là cái này của Mark Angel Chernoff, nghịch cảnh, khi nghịch cảnh cũng là một món quà. In here they talk about how to make your contribution, that's it true, and that we have enough evidence something is true before you make the contribution. So is it related to pragmatics as well? Especially the quality principle. So the next one, we talk about relation. In relation, there's just one word. They say that we need to be relevant. I would like you to explain to me how do you understand about the relevant in here. Bye bye nghe Thiệu My, nhớ khi nào mà tính giờ tính giấc để xong về Sài Gòn bao cà phê cho thầy đấy.
Dạ vâng, em cảm ơn thầy.
Ok, bye bye My.
Dạ, em chào thầy, chị em chào thầy ạ. Dạ.
Ok. So I would like you to share some idea about what we mean by relevant. Ở đây thì nhìn thấy Lan Ngọc nè, xin mời Lan Ngọc.
Yes, sir. I think the relevance is mean that the speaker and the listener share the same topic in their conversation.
Okay, thank you very much. So sometimes we share the same topic. It doesn't mean that it's irrelevant.
Okay, I'm sorry. I think the relevant is that something is relative to what the speaker and the listeners are saying about.
Not enough.
That's all.
Not enough. Okay, we have a lot of good lessons from the relevant, everybody. I would like you to think a little bit more, please, so that you can apply in different situations in your life. Relevant, chúng ta hiểu tiếng Việt là thích hợp. Thế nào là thích hợp? Và nó đặt ở trong cái relation nữa, ở trong cái nguyên tắc về mối quan hệ. Thì how do you understand being relevant in relation? Và chắc chắn là khi phân tích xong chúng ta sẽ thấy chúng ta học được rất là nhiều từ cái chữ relevant này. Okay, so sometimes you have some information, you have some contribution, which is informative as required. That means it's based on the quantity principle already, and is the true statement about something. That means you ensure the qualities of the statement or contribution you made, but sometimes it's not relevant. So I mean that in terms of relevant, in terms of relation, the statement or your contribution should be suitable. Something is true, but we should consider if it is suitable or relevant to the context. Is it relevant to the relationship between the speakers and the listener? Is it relevant related to the time of the utterance or not? Okay, so we can consider all of these when making some utterances. I would like to give you some example. For example, you know for sure that a very close friend of yourself got cancer, serious cancer, and he or she is in the hospital without knowing that he or she have problem and maybe have just some last days. Still hopefully that he or she will overcome all the illness and recover very soon. And then you pay him or her a visit right in the hospital room, and you inform him or her that he or she got a serious cancer and die very soon. The information is true. The contribution is true. And that's the evidence-based. You give enough information, that means you ensure the quantity and the quality. But what we said, what we say may be not relevant in that situation because the friend, the patient need to stay very optimistic in her or his last days. So the information or the contribution is not relevant in terms of the relation or in terms of the time. Or for example, you got a very good news from, you got a scholarship and you feel really happy, but you are on the way to a funeral, just for example, and then you cannot control yourself. You tell your friends in the funeral of someone else about your good news. The good news is good. The good news is true. But in that situation, in that setting, it's not relevant. So the contribution shouldn't be made at that time. So in terms of relevant, we have many things to say. Remember, being relevant, we put in the relation. So we would consider the relevance related to the situation, the setting, the relationship between the speaker and the listener, and also the time and any other factors, so that it should be relevant. Something you say true, but it's not relevant, so the contribution shouldn't be made at that time. Now come on, another one, and the last one, that's in manner. And in terms of manner, they would like your contribution should be perspicuous. By perspicuous, we mean that avoid obscurity of impression or avoid ambiguity. And remember to be brief. Don't be so lengthy, using wordy, and be orderly. So can I ask, what do I mean by be orderly? Order communication convey. Okay, Thanh Nguyên, please.
Well, I think that it talks about the organization of the talk. If something happened first, you need to mention that thing first instead of causing a mess in your speech. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. So be order in terms of the times of something happens. Okay, thank you. That's the one point. Any other, please? Can I ask Nguyên Bình?
Yes, I'm here. I think be orderly is we say something in the correct order. For example,
what is the correct order you mean?
I means that this is the time. This is the time. Or the order of something is happening. For example, the first thing, the second, and the third, and so on. We shouldn't mix the order of the conversation.
So that is the order of the time.
For example, when I told my friend about something happened yesterday, I told the first one what happened, and the next and the final of the story. I think it's a good way for my friend to understand what I'm saying.
Okay, thank you very much. So you and Will mentioned the time order. Triều Tiên, please.
Yes, I'm thinking about the structure of a text. For example, when we make a phone call, the first thing we need to say is introduce ourselves and the purpose of the call.
Okay, so that's a kind of the structure. What about Khánh Mai?
I mean the order of the talk, what we should say first. For example, when you give comments for our presentation, first you will give some strong points, then next some drawbacks. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. So we can see that we orderly. We have different order to consider. The first one is the time order. So we describe something according to the time it happened or it take place. Secondly, we base on some kind of structure, like what Triều Tiên and Khánh Mai said. Sometimes we talk about something based on the order of importance. Lúc nãy thầy thấy Thành Vinh giơ tay đó, nhưng mà lại cái camera nó tắt, không biết là em cũng you want to share something?
Sorry, teacher, I have the same idea with the others.
Okay. So another order you need to consider is that the order of complexities. That means we usually go from very easy to difficult one. We start from simple point to more complicated one. That's in the order of complexities. And another thing is that the order of importance. So maybe you start from the very important first, and then less important later. But you can do another way around. You start from less important, more and more and more, and the most important at the end. So it depends. So we need to choose appropriate order in order to convey your idea. That means what I mean by orderly. So remember, once again, we have four maxims. The first one related to quantity, the second one is quality, the third one is relation, and the last one is manner. First of all, I would like you to look at the way we observe the maxims, or we follow the principle. I would like you to look at this situation. This is the conversation between husband and wife. The husband said that, where are the car keys? The wife said that, I don't know if I get it right, in the hall. The husband asked, where exactly? The wife said, maybe on the table, right? The husband said, no, they're on the desk. The wife said, I meant the desk. I would like you to look at this example, and can you give some opinion? I want you to refer to the maxim we have. By the maxim, I mean that we have the four maxims related to quantity, quality, relation, and manner. And can you analyze the conversation to see that if the husband and wife observe the maxims or not? Okay, I would like to copy the conversation and put in your chat box, and I would like to share. I would like you to go in back to the maxim and to share what you think about the ways the girl or the wife observe the maxims, please. Okay, welcome back to the main classroom, please. So now I would like you to share some ideas about the conversation we have between husband and wife. Can I ask, let's say, Thanh Xuân, please?
Okay. Sir, can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay, so here I think that the wife tries to observe the maximum of quality by using some phrases like, I don't know if I get it right, or maybe, because she's not sure about the locations of the keys. So she tried to use those phrases, try not to violate the maximum of quality. As for the maximum of quantity, I think that in the first sentence, I don't know if I get it right in the whole. I think that she kind of violated the maximum quantity, because in the whole here, there's not enough information for the husband to find it. As for relations and manner, I think she's fine with it, with them.
In what way she violates the quality and manner?
Quality?
Yeah, I heard something you said that she violated the qualities and manner, right?
No, quantity.
Quantity already. What about the second idea?
Quality?
Yeah. What do you think about qualities and manner?
I think that she tried not to violate the maximum qualities by using some phrases like, I don't know if I get it right, and maybe.
Okay, I like the way you say that she tried not to, but did she?
Yeah, I think, because maybe on the table, but right, and then the husband said no, they're on the desk, so she violated.
Okay, thank you very much. I love the way you say that she tried not to, but actually she did. Any others? Would you like to share something about the conversation between husband and wife in here related to the maxims or the cooperative principles we had? Ngọc Huy, have you got anything to share?
Oh, okay, yeah, teacher. So I think that in the very first exchange, like, where are the car keys? And the wife said that I don't know if I get it right in the whole. So I think that's like, for this exchange, the wife violate the maxims called quantity, yeah, because like in the whole, like, like Sun said, like the information is not enough, so maybe the husband cannot find the car keys, easily. And for the next, for the following exchange, I think that also the wife also violates the maximum quality, because like she's not sure, like she just said like on the maybe on the table, right? So but when the husband find the keys is on the desk, so she said something like,
I mean the desk.
Not true. Yeah. I mean the desk. Sorry.
She meant the desk. She talked about the desk, but she say the table. So what do you think about that? What do you think about that?
So I think like it's just maybe the way she use the words. So it's not, that reflects her thoughts. I think so. So that's why she violate the maximum of quantity. Sorry, quality.
Quantity and quality.
Yeah, that's right.
And what about manner? Do you think she was clear enough?
manners. Let me see. Yeah.
Because we try to ambiguities in here.
Yeah, I think that she is not clear enough. She not sure about her answer, so yeah, she not sure about that. But about the relevance, I think that like yeah, what she trying to answer is quite relevant to the topic. Yeah.
Okay. See,
yeah, I think so.
to be relevant to the topic, that means you respond to the question asked.
Yeah,
So
that's
everybody,
right.
we should be very sympathetic to the women for different reasons. You cannot remember the car keys. Now, I would like you to help her, please. If you can make it very sharp and simple, as informative as possible, how should it be? How should she answer the husband? I would like you to shorten the statement in one statement or two only. To make it more comprehensive and responsive to the question, please. Lan Ngọc.
Yes, so I would say it's sorry, they're on the desk in the home.
Okay, oh my gosh, that's really, really sharp and concise. Now, I would like you to look at this one. The expected answer is they're on the table, on the hall. Okay, actually, they are on the desk, not the table. Okay, so in this case, now I will have to correct this one, otherwise it meaningless in the situation. That actually means the desk, not the table, everybody. Yeah, thank you very much. So actually, see, Sunhao said something like they're on the desk in the hall. Okay, so by this way, we can see that the word answer clearly in terms of the manner and truthfully the qualities, and has given the right amount of information, the quantity, and she had directly addressed her husband Gold in asking for the question in terms of relation. So if we look at the conversation before, we can see that she's not very clear. So she violated the manner quality, the manner maxim, and then she didn't answer it right or correctly. And because she was confusing between the table and the desk, so she violated the quality. And you can see that she gave not enough information as required. She violated the quantity. And also, she didn't answer the question right away. She didn't respond to the answer right away. She just kept beating around the bush. By that way, she violates the relation principle. So I would like to remind what Thanh Xuân said. She did violate the maxim, but she was trying to show that she trying to show her attempt not violating the maxim by saying something like, I don't know if I get it right, or maybe on the table, or I meant. So the term I don't know if I get it right show us that she was aware of the information she gave, maybe right or not right. Or she said maybe on the table, right? That means she really not sure. And she was aware of the information, maybe not exact as she expected. And the way she trying to show her attempt not to violate the maxim. By that way, we call all of these, like I don't know if I get it right, or maybe on the table, right, or I meant. We call all of these hedges. So the question is, what are hedges? So based on the example and from what we have in your books, I would like you to answer the question, what are hedges? Lan Ngọc again. Hồng Ngọc, please.
I think that is a word or a phrase that we use to show that we are not sure of something, like to show the ambiguity.
Okay, so when we are not sure of something, we can use the hedges. Thank you very much. Đăng Thi, what do you think?
I think the hedges, like the warnings, like the speaker want to show that they are conscious of the importance of the quantity maxim, and they try as much as possible to avoid that.
Okay, thank you very much. So I would like you to read from Thanh Thúy. Utterance the speaker said is not totally accurate. Maybe, yeah. Okay, the hedge in here, we mean that certain kinds of expressions the speaker used to mark or to identify that they may be in danger of not fully adhering to the principle, or to mark that, to show that they are aware of violating the principle, to show that they try not to violate the principle some way. It can be the quantity, the quantity, relation, or manner principle. For different maxims, we have different hedges, and I would like to show you some hedges like that. So in terms of the quantity maxim, I would like you to look at the example. Okay, can you identify the hedges in those sentences, please? In sentence A, can I ask Vương Nguyệt, please?
Yes, in sentence A, as you probably know.
Thank you, that's right. What about in sentence B, Như Quỳnh?
To cut a long story short.
Thank you. So, yep. Anything else, Như Quỳnh?
Yeah, nothing. Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. So in sentence C, can I ask Hồng Cảnh, please?
I think it says I won't bore you with all the details.
Thank you very much. That's right. So what can we learn from the hedges?
Yeah, teacher, I think the hedges will make us learn how to speak an information that may not totally accurate in a polite way.
Okay, thank you very much. So you say that accurate. When we say something about accuracy, it seems to me that it related more to the quality than quantity.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is the hedges of quantity. What can we learn from the hedges of quantity? From the speaker, okay, from the speaker viewpoint, maybe sometime when we make a speech or when we contribute an utterance in the conversation, if we know for sure, or if we are aware of what we're going to say is shorter or longer than expected, than required, the speaker needs to use some indicators, we call the hedges, as apology to the listener. So in terms of the speaker, we learn that we need to use the hedges if we tend to violate the quantity maxim. But in terms of the listener, when we heard somebody say or use the hedge, we should aware that the information we got later on is shorter or longer than expected. Okay, if they say that, so to cut a long story short, don't expect to hear on the full details of the story. So we need to give attention to very brief and main idea only. if you hear somebody saying something like, I won't bore you with all the details, but, and then as a listener, remember, we are going to hear a long story with lots of unnecessary details in the anecdotes you're going to hear. So based on that, we can decide as listener what information we pay more attention to, or what details we are going to remember. Okay, so next one, in terms of the HG for quality, I would like you to look at those statements. We have 4 statements. As far as I know, they're married. I may be mistaken, but I thought I saw a wedding ring on her finger. I'm not sure if this is right, but I heard it was a secret ceremony in Hawaii. Or he couldn't live without her, I guess. What do you think the hedges are in statement A? Can I invite, first of all, Kim Phụng?
Yes, teacher. I think the hedges here is as far as I know.
Okay, thank you. What about in B, Hoài Ân, please?
Yes, in sentence is I may be mistaken.
Thank you. The next one in C, Thanh Thúy, what do you think? Thanh Thúy couldn't say. Okay, Thúy, can you type in the chat box, please?
Sorry, teacher, I can say, but I cannot raise the hand.
Okay, yes, please.
I'm not sure if this is right.
Thank you very much. And Khánh Mai, what about you?
In the last sentence, hedges is I guess.
Okay, thank you very much. So the same question, what can we learn from the hedges of quality? Minh Thư, please. Thank you. Can I ask Ngọc Hải, would you like to share something about the lesson we learned from the hedges of quality, please?
I think that when we use the hedges of quality, it can be ensure about the quality of our saying.
Okay. Thank you, Ngọc Hải. So it's the way to ensure the qualities of the saying or the statement. Anybody else want to contribute something? Want to share something about the hedges of qualities in here? Lan Ngọc, please.
Yes, sir. I think when the speaker use the hedges, they want to emphasize or they want to mention to emphasize the cooperation of the listener. It's been that the listener have to check the information that the speaker gave because it's just for example, as far as I know, just what I know. How about you? You can check the information. Is that true or false? It means that we need the cooperation of the listener in the conversation.
Okay, it doesn't make sense to me so much from the explanation, but we can see that here. Okay, I would like to see the chat box. They said that it's helpful for speaker to show the interest of cooperation in conversation through the. Okay. So first of all, in terms of the speaker, when you're not really sure about something, you can use some hedges of quality to show that we may violate the maxim, or for sure that we indicate that the information is not clearly confirmed or well evidenced. That is from the speaker's perspective. But for the listener, when you're a listener to some information like this one, you need to be very well controlled of yourself in order to assess the information. When you say that as far as I know, they're married, so you must for sure you know that the information is not confirmed, or I may be mistaken. And when they say something like that, you need to assess the information critically. Or I'm sure if this is right or not. Sometimes people started with the hedges like this one. We have the right to doubt the information later on. So in order to assess, in order to evaluate the information you heard, you need to pay attention to the detail like this one, especially the hedges of quality, because it's helped you to clarify the information and to see which one you should rely on and which one you need to carefully assess the information in some ways so that you make sure that what you hear is true. Okay, you can see that sometimes in the conversation, people will use the hedgy unintentionally, but by that way we can categorize the information and we are very selective in the information we choose and we listen to. When you heard something like, I may be mistaken, but I thought I saw wedding ring on her fingers, the information is not fully confirmed or fully evidenced because it's not fully evidenced. So if you are responsible enough, don't repeat information to anybody else because we do not say what you lack of evidence to be true. So we can have a lot of good lessons to learn from the situation or to learn from the hedges people use in the quality. And remember, usually ask yourself the question whether the information is true or not. Okay. So I said that sometimes when you study pragmatics, it makes you to become more skeptical when you listen to some other people because they use a lot of hedges. They use a lot of indicators, markers to show that they may violate the maxims. Okay, and this is very often, and you yourself to become more critical in the way that you assess information and be selective which information you need to listen to and which one you need ignore. Okay, so now continue. Tôi không biết cái ý như vậy có rõ đối với các bạn hay không, nhưng mà hy vọng là với cái hedges này khi mà chúng ta phân biệt nó hedges đó, nó sẽ cho chúng ta rất là nhiều cái điều hay khi mà chúng ta giao tiếp. Như lúc nãy tôi chia sẻ đó là với vai trò của một người mình là speaker, nếu như mình phát ngôn ra cái đó thì khi chúng ta sử dụng hedges, đó là một trong những cái cách mà chúng ta indicate là cái thông tin phía sau đó nó có được kiểm chứng hay chưa kiểm chứng, hoặc là cái thông tin phía sau đó nó true hay not true. Ok, đó là về quan điểm của người speaker. Nhưng mà là listener, các bạn biết không, khi mà chúng ta quán triệt được cái hedges này, khi mà nó thấm vào trong đầu của chúng ta rồi, chúng ta sẽ trở nên là một người rất là critical và một người rất là skeptical nữa. Một người bắt đầu là có cái đầu óc phán đoán, có tư duy phản biện, và đặc biệt là chúng ta hay nghi ngờ về những cái thông tin mà chúng ta có. Chúng ta hay đặt những cái câu hỏi mà làm phiền người khác. Ví dụ như chúng ta sẽ xét nét về các thông tin hơn. Nếu như ai đó nói là nó nghe là tôi nghe nói, ok, như vậy thì cái tôi nghe nói có nghĩa là as far as I know đó, thì chúng ta sẽ thấy cái thông tin phía sau này chỉ là nghe nói thôi chứ không có fully evidence. Thì như vậy thì chúng ta sẽ phải chọn lọc rất là kỹ. Ok, mình sẽ đặt câu hỏi, mình sẽ tự mình question về cái thông tin đó, và như vậy chúng ta sẽ có một cái sự chọn lọc thông tin rất là tốt. Nhưng tất nhiên là cái skeptical đó nó cũng nên ở trong chừng mực thôi, để không thôi chúng ta làm phiền những người xung quanh, đặc biệt là người vợ hoặc là người chồng của mình hoặc là người yêu của mình. Tại vì chúng ta sẽ thấy là trong vô thức họ sẽ sử dụng cái hedges này trong tiếng Việt mình gọi là nó gọi là
rào đón.
Lời rào đón, đúng rồi, lời rào đón. Người ta sử dụng lời rào đón rất là nhiều. Người ta sử dụng lời rào đón rất là nhiều, và cứ mỗi lần ai đó sử dụng lời rào đón á, thì với nhìn khi mà chúng ta đã học pragmatics rồi đó, thì làm cho chúng ta phải nghi ngờ cái thông tin phía sau đó, chắc chắn luôn. Chúng ta sẽ mình có thể mình không nói ra, nhưng khi người ta đã nói cái ý đó, người ta đã nói cái câu đó, thì phía sau đó nó phải là một cái điều không đáng tin cậy. Có một cái cô đó, nhớ là cái cô đó cổ nhắn tin cho mình lúc mình đang dạy. Cổ nhắn tin là thầy ơi, em có điều này em muốn chia sẻ với thầy, nhưng mà em không biết là nó có phù hợp hay không. Rồi nếu như là các anh chị thì chúng ta sẽ trả lời như thế nào? Cô nhắn tin cho mình là em có một điều này em muốn chia sẻ với thầy, nhưng mà em không biết nó có phù hợp hay không. Chưa có nhắn tin hết, nhưng bởi vì mình cũng hơi bị bệnh nghề nghiệp á, và thực ra là mình bị quá bận thì mình mới nhắn tin lại là thầy bận quá, thôi nếu như em đã thấy nó không phù hợp thì em đừng có chia sẻ. Hãy chia sẻ cái điều nào mà em thấy thực sự là nó phù hợp. Cái xong mình ốp máy luôn. Thì cái cô đó sau đó thì cổ có vẻ cổ hơi phiền lòng, cổ nói thì thật ra em thấy nó phù hợp. Em mới nói ủa, nếu như em đã thấy nó phù hợp rồi thì em nhắn cái tin đó làm chi nữa. Thì cũng may mắn là sau đó mình có vào dạy lớp đó, mình vừa dạy pragmatics luôn, mình dạy tới cái này, mình lấy cái câu đó ra làm ví dụ luôn cho mọi người luôn. So we can see that the knowledge we learn from pragmatics, it can help to enrich your life in some way. I don't know whether it's better or it is worse. But we analyze the information, we analyze the statement and the utterances in relation with others, and we are more critical. Certainly we are more critical and more selective. Chúng ta sẽ trở thành những cái bà cô già xét nét, và chúng ta sẽ quan tâm tới lời ăn tiếng nói, nhưng mà cũng đừng quá. Đồng thời người ta sẽ nói mình chi ly quá, nhưng thực ra nó có cái hay cái này nè các bạn. Khi bữa nay mình bị dập xuống nhiều quá, nhưng mà khi mình bình tâm lại, mình ngồi mình xem lại các tài liệu đó, mình hệ thống lại, rồi mình thấm dần đó, cái mình nghe, cái mình tham gia hội thoại, cái bắt đầu mình quan tâm nhiều hơn tới những điều mình đã học á, cái nó tự động vô thức nó làm cho mình nhớ lại ha. Thì nếu như mình thấy những cái trường hợp nào, những cái cases nào mà nó giống như cái mình học, mình hay rất là bắt đầu mình sẽ đưa vào mình phân tích. Cái phân tích đó có khi mình nói ra, có khi mình không nói ra đâu, nhưng nó làm cho mình hiểu được, mình thẩm thấu được cái ngôn ngữ theo một cái cách khác hơn, nó thú vị hơn, hoặc là có khi nó tệ hơn nữa. Và bằng cách nào đi chăng nữa thì nó cũng sẽ làm giàu cho cuộc sống mình, nó làm cho cuộc sống mình nó có màu sắc nhiều hơn khi chúng ta lắng nghe được nhiều. Và đặc biệt là khi mà các bạn biết không, có nhiều khi nếu như mà mình lắng nghe, không phải mình nghe lén nha, mình không phải mình nghe lén, mà mình nghe một cái cuộc hội thoại mà mình không có trực tiếp tham gia đó, mình chỉ nghe cuộc hội thoại thôi, thì mình sẽ thấy thú vị lắm. Mình nghe cuộc hội thoại khác rồi mình phân tích từ trên cuộc hội thoại đó, mình thấy nó thú vị lắm. Nên cái project mà các bạn sắp làm đó, thì các bạn có thể làm một cái project cuối kỳ đó để làm điểm thi đó, thì các bạn quan tâm tới điều nào các bạn hãy làm điều đó. Ví dụ các bạn thích về distance and distance, các bạn hãy làm đó. Nếu như các bạn quan tâm tới reference and inference thì các bạn hãy phân tích về cái đó. Hoặc các bạn quan tâm về cooperative principles thì các bạn hãy phân tích về việc này, các bạn hãy research về nó. Các bạn có thể nghiên cứu lý thuyết cũng được, hoặc thực tế cũng được. Hoặc là chúng ta có thể I would like you to select a conversation, nhưng mà nó phải authentic nha. Nó không phải là do mình đặt ra. Có nghĩa là mình record được một cái conversation nào đó, hoặc là mình trích từ một cái movie mà nó mang tính đậm chất đời thường nào đó, mà nó có gắn với cái điểm ngôn ngữ mà chúng ta sắp phân tích, chúng ta sử dụng cái kiến thức của mình để chúng ta phân tích trên cái đó luôn á. Thì tôi lại rất là thích những cái kiểu như vậy. Có nghĩa là ví dụ như các anh chị hãy hình dung, các bạn hãy hình dung là mình tình cờ, mình là cái outsider, mình nghe hai đứa trẻ nó nói chuyện với nhau, thì mình nghe nó hay, mà nó có gắn tới, nó có liên quan tới cái pragmatics của mình á, thì cái đó nó thú vị lắm. Mình nghe này tụi nó nói hay ha, nó có những cái chất liệu để mình phân tích, thì mình sử dụng cái đó. Hoặc là mình tình cờ mình nghe được một cái đoạn hội thoại, một cuộc nói chuyện nào đó mà mình ghi âm được, của những người tình cờ họ nói chuyện trên đường, một cái conversation nào đó, hoặc là ở chợ, hoặc là hoàn cảnh nào đó mà chúng ta nghe được, mà chúng ta thấy nó có yếu tố về pragmatics mà chúng ta có thể vận dụng phân tích được, thì cái đó là nó tuyệt vời nhất, là thầy thích cái đó nhất. Thích cái đó là bởi vì sao? Là chúng ta đã nâng cái việc học của chúng ta nó vận dụng để nó analyze vào một cái tình huống thực tế, thì nó lại rất là hay. Đó, thì thầy thích cái kiểu như vậy. Nên nếu như mà chúng ta tình cờ chúng ta nghe được một cuộc hội thoại, thì chúng ta sẽ bắt đầu chúng ta vận dụng những cái kiến thức về pragmatics của mình để chúng ta analyze và chúng ta make conclusion. Điều đó là điều thú vị. Okay, so next one. You can hear something like, I don't know if it's important, but some of the files are missing. So I would like you to identify the hatches they use in here. Can I ask Phượng Tú for statement A, please?
The hatchet here is, I don't know if is this important.
Okay, thank you. That's right. Ngọc Anh, can you identify the hatch they use in statement B, please?
Yes, the next one is this may sound like a dumb question.
Thank you very much. And sentence C, can I go back to Bảo Thư, please? Không nghe được Thư nói rồi Thư ơi. Okay, so Thành Vinh, what do you think about C?
Yeah, I think not to change the subject is the hatches.
Okay, thank you. So based on the hatches we have in here as speaker, we need to use the hatchet if you think that you're going to violate the maxim for sure. But as listener, we need to be careful with the information when you hear the hatches like those one. Because for example, from the first one, but some of the words are missing. The information may be very, very important, or maybe the information is very trivial, not important at all. So for question B, so they said that sound like dumb question. So maybe you are prepared to listen to some very stupid question, maybe. I don't know. But if you hear that someone say that not to change the subject, that you need to know that they are going to change the subject. Okay, now continue. Quickly, we look at the hatches for manner. So in terms of manner, we have some of the hatches like A, B, and C. Can I ask Dante for A? This may be a bit confused, but I remember being in the car.
Yes, teacher. The hatches in the sentence A, this may be a bit confused.
Thank you very much. So when we say that, okay, thank you, that's right. And maybe a bit confused. And actually the information, the later information can be very confusing. So what about in B? Can I ask Phương Nguyên, please?
So the hatch in sentence B is, I'm not sure if this makes sense.
Okay, thank you very much. That's right. So I'm not sure if this makes sense. And it can be nonsense sometimes. What about in C? Can I invite Phạm Thu Thủy, please?
I don't know if this is clear at all.
Okay, thank you very much. And this is one of the hatch. The hatch is to show that information later is unclear. Okay, everybody. I just show you the cooperative principle or the maxim, and the hatches are indicated to indicate that the speaker may violate the maxim. It's now 11 o'clock, and I think we stop here for the morning. And in the afternoon, I will come back and talk about implicatures. But before you go, I would like you to look at the situation in here to have some idea of implicatures. Okay, Jacqueline say, I hope you brought the bread and the cheese. And Dexter said that, I brought the bread. So what does it mean? Hồng Hoan?
Yes, Dexter that he didn't bring the cheese, just the bread.
Okay, thank you. So what general information we can get from here? So Jacqueline say B and C, but he said that B, not C. So in here, Dexter, we can see that Dexter appeared to violate the requirement of the quantity maxim. He should say something, I brought the bread, but I didn't bring the cheese. By saying so, he gave enough information and he is as informative as required. But because he didn't give enough information, it seemed that he violated the maxim, the quantity maxim. But actually in real life, this way of saying, we say that Dexter he conveyed more than what he said. And that's what we call implicature. And implicature, he understand what he unsaid. Okay. Cách nói này là cách nói chúng ta gọi là hàm ngôn hoặc là ẩn ý. Và đây chắc là một trong những cái nét đẹp nhất, hay nhất mà chúng ta thường hay quan tâm khi mà chúng ta học về pragmatics. Bởi vì có rất là nhiều điểm, có rất là nhiều cái bài thi. Ví dụ chúng ta học về reading, chúng ta thi reading hoặc là chúng ta thi listening. Thường chúng ta học về cái cách chúng ta giải mã những điều mà người ta muốn imply cái gì. Ok, và chúng ta sẽ học những cái cách hàm ngôn này. Mà yêu thích nghiên cứu về ngôn ngữ thì implicatures hoặc là cái cooperative principle nó sẽ mang lại cho chúng ta những cái điều cực kỳ thú vị và mới mẻ. Bởi vì chúng ta giống kiểu mình nói đó, more communicated concept, hoặc là cái lời của người xưa nói là ý tại ngôn ngoại đó, những cái điều mà ngôn ngữ nó không có diễn tả ra, nó là hàm ngôn, là nó là hàm ý mà chúng ta cần phải hiểu sâu sắc. Đêm thôi nếu như chúng ta hàm ý sai đó thì nó lại không có hay. And when you get into implicature, you can understand the other layer of language, especially the ways language is used in real life. So continue. I would like you to look at the conversational implicatures. So we have two different kinds of implicator. I would like you to distinguish. The first one is conversational implicature. The second one is conventional implicature. So I would like to start with conversational implicature. With conversational implicature, we have two subtypes. The first one is generalized conversational implicature, and the second is particularized conversational implicature. Okay, so first I would like you to look at the conversation between Juby and Mary. So the same thing. Juby asked, did you invite Bella and Katie? I invited Bella. So which means when we say B and C and say B, that means not C. When Mary said I invited Bella, it means that I didn't invite Katie. Now, so when you listen to the conversation, and we can see that we don't need any special knowledge in the context in order to understand the meaning or the implicature. It is called general implicatures or generalized conversational implicature. So we remember we don't need any special context. Look at the second example. I was sitting in the garden one day. A child looked over the fence. What kind of meaning, what kind of hidden meaning you can see, you can interpret in this one? Jutin, please.
Yes, I can see that the fence is low enough so that a child can look over it.
Okay,
Yeah.
So what do you think about a garden and a child? Can you interpret something about a garden and a child?
Dạ, em nói luôn hả thầy?
Yeah.
So the child is outside of the garden